Today, we're diving into General Electric's recent Q3 results and the guidance that has sent their stocks soaring. I'm joined by Chris and Thomas to dissect the drivers behind these impressive numbers and the implications for investors. Let's get started. All right, guys, let's kick things off with a bang. General Electric's Q3 results and guidance have been nothing short of impressive, lifting shares by more than 5%. So, Thomas, what is your take on key drivers behind these robust numbers, and what signals are they sending to investors?
Well, they're sending some good signals for sure. The company is affecting its turnaround with style. The pop in share prices is all about execution and results. So earlier this year, the healthcare spinoff went off pretty well. It helped unlock some value for shareholders, and it looks like the aerospace and Vernova spinoffs will do the same thing. Both segments contributed to this quarter's growth, came with favorable outlook. Aerospace is seeing solid demand from commercial, but also sustained business, also sustained business on the military end. Vernova continues to build out its capacity and is beginning to leverage that growth, and I see profitability coming into sight. So definitely good signals.
Okay, so it seems to me like this is a multifaceted success story. Chris, what can you tell us about the impact of these results on the broader market?
Okay, you gave me the harder question here, Lacey. So right now, I would say when GE first announced their results, they did it along with 3M, and it really looked very encouraging for the market. But those results kind of faded off. Right now, I don't see that as being a big deal for the sector in general. This kind of looks like one of those markets that's every stock for themselves. And even GE has tailed off a little bit since the big boost it got after earnings. So I don't think you can say that GE's results say a lot for the entire market or even for the sector. But for GE and GE shareholders, it's certainly very good.
Yeah, I would concur with that.
All right, let's turn our focus to valuation here. Thomas, GE is currently trading at a relatively high valuation, especially when it's compared to this year's earnings guidance. So how should investors interpret this valuation, and what is on the horizon?
Well, GE is highly valued relative to this year's earnings expectation, but that valuation falls significantly next year. Earnings are expected to grow high double digits and bring that P/E multiple down to 25x. I think that's pretty reasonable for a company that's in this stage of its turnaround. We're looking at the spinoff unlocking value, but also for both segments to produce profits and pay shareholders over time. So I think that the GE is actually a pretty decent value relative to its long-term outlook.
All right, Chris, Thomas suggests that a large dividend increase is in the works. So what are your thoughts on that? Is this the spinoff? Is it going to impact that in any way?
Yeah, I think so. Thomas can correct me if I'm wrong here, but from what I saw in their earnings report, Vernova is not yet a profitable part of their business. So, when you spin that off, I think they're already projecting to have earnings growth with Vernova factored in. Without Vernova, the dividend increase seems almost, inevitable.
What other thoughts do you want to share with investors today? Chris, do you have anything to add?
Not much. I mean, I first started writing about GE back in 2019 when Larry Culp first took over the company. And at that time, boy, it was a mess. So, I look at the results and I'm happy for the company, and I'm happy for Larry Culp. I mean, this is one of the bellwether companies, in America. It's nice to see that the turnaround happened, because oftentimes these things don't work out the way they're supposed to. So it's nice to see GE rally like this.
Thomas, what do you have to add to that?
Yeah, I think GE is kind of a Cinderella story. It's certainly the poster child for big blue chip conglomerates that grew too big. The size was its biggest hindrance for years. Like you said, when Culp came on board and they began turning the company around, it really began to unlock value for shareholders. I think that these three new companies will all become buy and hold companies in their own right. The results this quarter were certainly good. Guidance was raised. I don't see anything wrong with it at all. The market's showing a nice trend following signal. I think that the stock should probably trend higher over time.
Great insights on General Electric's Q3 performance today, guys. We loved hearing about what that means for investors. As always, we encourage you to stay informed by checking out our resources that I've linked for you down below. Stay engaged, leave us a comment with your thoughts, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Lacey.
see you next time.